Got us as team 1, actually team 2, together with Fel, Russ, Demon Hunter. We got G-Fuck in the back with Shalissa as a Nightborn. Windwalker Monk is a brute. Huh. Is that BDB Monk maybe? Oh, you got like Night Fae pieces and the Nightborn pieces. That's kind of cool. We got ourselves Archie in the back sitting down, and then Mary. Oh, I kind of like that Mog. Looking like the Death Reaper himself. It looks like it is going to be old school first up. Go for the Shatter Throw. Trying to see if he can bust through Fists of Fury. Just through Fist. It's going to be a fear onto Shalissa as they try to go for a leg sweep, but miss it completely. Going to be old school. Punishing him with a Shattering Throw. Actually, no with a Shattering Throw, but a Stormbolt into a Warbreaker. Disarm onto the Warrior for a second. As he's looking to back up, looking to maybe get a pummel onto Shalissa. Might be a karma right here. Execute comes out, and old school just hits him with a big old Execute before he even knows it. And old school's going to have to go for a bit of a reset. Playing defensive stance, so he's not playing that second wind, so he's not getting any healing at all. So I guess Felrich is going to have to be very, very careful. Playing Stormbolt too, so this man's got no healing. He's just aggression. And maybe they're reducing the damage a little bit. Felrush charging in, parry up really early with a disarm onto Felrush with a Stormbolt. As he sees the I-Beam comes out, old school just trying to crack through defenses a little bit, put a bleed on the guy. Got a couple of overpowers with mortal strikes in. It looks like he's able to do a decent job. Into an Imprison as he tries to charge in. Could go for Zerk or Rage to break out of it, but looks like he doesn't have it back up. As Felrush catching up on a little bit of a Fleshcraft, maybe old school needs to go for a Fleshcraft of his own. The Demon Hunter is charging in. Does he get to swing around the corner? Looks like he just has to let it happen. Let the Warrior catch up. And the Warrior actually getting a bit of healing, playing the Marilla Soulbind while he's channeling Fleshcraft, and for a few seconds after, he gains immunity. He's Marileth. Yeah, he has to be Marileth. Gonna be that overpower, but rather battle stance available with the Warbreaker, Fel Rush, with blurs. Some of his attacks can dodge versus old school, but not the overpower. Blaze Star Battle for old school lasted for quite a while. As Fel Rush landing a stun is going to be activating and summoning a demon to his side. Could slay the demon in order to get him a little bit of healing. The demon does minimal damage, but it is enough to break him out of CC like a Fear, for example. Quick charge by old school into a pummel versus Fel Rush as he goes for an I-Beam into a disarm, so the Demon Hunter can't do much. Into a stun right after to get out of the Demon Hunter. Stun onto old school, charging right through him. It looks like he's actually looking to back up out of it. Looks like old school has him on the ropes. Fel Rush can only heal whenever he's in combat. And so, same thing for old school, more or less. Or rather, he needs to execute somebody in order to be able to get a healing rush. Gonna be that I-Beam out of Fel Rush as he gets pummeled on it. And he still has his weapons, continue to get whatever healing he can with Release. Old school doesn't sit so long at all, and does land another execute into the next guy. Arhi landing a flame shark onto old school. And is going to be able to burn through that shield. That's going to be a banner still up for old school for a few seconds. The doggos join the fight. Old school got himself a couple of shields. He got the Kevin Slime shield from time to time. Phaedra's fusion big time out of Arhi though. And that's going to be another slime shield out of old school as Arhi is disarmed for a moment. But he has plenty of abilities he can use. He doesn't necessarily need weapons. The Ghost Soul's doing work. Old school with the Reflect. Not much you can really do here. And Arhi is going to be able to take him down. Not much you can do against a class that can heal. And also a class that literally can't heal at all. Stun onto Arhi as Bear for the win. Trying to get himself a bit of damage. Playing out the Necrolord Fel. Thorns are up really early. Arhi with a wall is going to purge off the Thorns off of Bear for the win. Is this guy the kind of guy that plays literally Bear, Guardian, Legendary? Looks like Bear's just continuing to sink in bites back to back into Arhi. He got himself Berserk, trying to keep the pressure rolling, building up the combo point. Sunder, as the sun comes on, maybe Arhi can make some damage here. Does not have anything to really combo off of it. But did at least get himself a decent CC chain. He needs to get another one of the CC chains with full burst, Wind Fury Totem, everything. If he could do that, cleanly, he'll be in a fantastic spot. Surprising Bear for the win for sure. No barks at our Bear, no wall just yet, and just continued to heal himself, just trying to fight through this. Looks like he's a Restoration Affinity as he pokes out in order to get himself a rejuve for the Swiftman. Not going anywhere away from the totem though. Gonna be that emergency healing out of Bear for the win though. Does he have himself the swarm on top of it? Looks like he's gonna wall this off. Trying to go for the Ursals onto Arhi as Arhi has himself a sentence. Trying to see if maybe Soul Shape might be enough to let him catch up to Bear for the win. It looks like he's just gonna go in the other direction. Catches him with a flame shock, so the Bear isn't looking for a reset. He just wants to stay away from the cooldowns in particular. Thorns are up, could be able to maybe purge him. Arhi get himself a bit of healing, but not really burning too much mana. Shackles him Malediction right now. Arhi triggers out of it with a Sunder onto Bear. And does Arhi have any more damage or pressure to follow? Bear for the win is actually kind of low on health. Not a lot of defenses available. Still holding on to Trinket, but Arhi doesn't really have a lot of hard CC to lock him down with. Maybe a Sunder once in a while. Trying to stun him. He's going to land the stun with the Phaetus Fusion. Lots of damage. Bear for the win. Trinket's on him with the Skull Bash. Arhi does get himself a little bit of that Phaetus Fusion heal. Bear going for as much healing as possible. I think an emergency Frenzy Regen was activated there as well. Arhi continuing to throw snowballs at Bear. Gonna be a main by the Druid. Looking to just lock down the bleeds onto Arhi. But so far, Arhi has been able to survive this. Sunder onto Bear as he's looking for those Swiftments. And maybe if Arhi can go for Purges fast enough, he might be able to purge Regios before Bear can go for Swiftman to like stump him. I wonder. Because he's going for Swiftmans. He's definitely trying to. I wonder if he's playing the Conduit, which got nerfed for PvP. So the healing is not nearly as high. Stunned by Arhi with a Sundering, does himself a big go, big Ascendance, massive burst of lightning onto Bear, trying to go for a war stun, but Arhi activating Ascendance just gave him such a burst of damage out of nowhere. Cries Bad is going to be up next. Can he tussle against Arhi? He is playing the Necrolord that is going to be flesh cuffed up. Arhi tried to go to Cypher the Soul of the Druid, but decided, you don't want to back up. I know there's Succubus. I don't want to be caught out on the open. And Kreisman is just going to let the Succubus stay in the middle, letting Arhi come to him. He wants to keep him out in the open, wants to go for Seed Chains, instead sending the Succubus over. Arhi is fine just sitting down and waiting. Maybe puts himself out in the open. Kreisman is going to have to run in and put himself out there into a Chaos Bolt to Arhi, most likely with a stun to follow a Cataclysm right after. And Arhi is just going to take a bit of a punishment in the opener. Setting goes for the Kreisman, but actually playing it defensively is going to turn attention onto the Succubus. Maybe can go for eliminating the Succubus, then putting pressure on Kreisman, not let him get a pet for quite a while. Maybe that's going to be part of his play. Fear onto the Earth Elemental. Kreisman trying to go for a Fear onto Arhi. He does still have Tremor Totem if he needs to. Kreisbed waiting out the totem and is going to go for a port to at least disengage away from Arhi. Earth Elemental joining the fight. Ghost was timed out. Going to be an Infernal crashing down onto Arhi's head, but the Fear sends him right behind the pillar, exactly where actually he wants to be. Bonds fell around the corner. Arhi most likely going to have to break it. Is going to Soul Shape out of the bonds, doing a bit of damage to himself. But he's trying to avoid Kreisbed while the Infernal is up. So kind of like how Kreisbed saw Ghostwolves, trying to stay away from him. Arhi sees Infernal, trying to stay away from Kreisbed. Trying not to give him a chance to do some damage as Infernal is building resources. Kreisbed catching him in a Mortal Coil with a Fear to follow. Pulling the pets back a little bit so he doesn't break the Fear into a Decimated Bolt. That's going to do a bit of damage for those Incinerates. Is going to get locked out on Shadow. Has himself opportunity to just cast out a bunch of Incinerates back to back. Maybe looking for a stun into Arhi. But goes against it. Maybe looking for the mobility. Looking to disengage. Going to be stunned. Kreisman does actually pour it out of that Sunder, or right out of the totem. Right as it's about to go off. The Sunder didn't last quite as long as he needed to. Fear onto Arhi. Does have a Tremor. Looks like he already used it. I think Kreisman took out the Tremor. Into Incinerates. Should be able to make some damage happen. Another Incinerate flying in. Does Arhi have an interrupt? 3 Incinerates are roll out. Arhi's put in a critical condition. He's going to activate everything he can just to maintain himself as best as possible. Going to be the Bonds of Fell as Kreisman has nowhere to go. Could go for a port. That's not most likely, I think, is what he wants to do. Mortal Coil. Arhi does not walk out of Bonds of Fell. Trick is on Mortal Coil trying to interrupt the Fear, but doesn't quite get to. And that's going to be a freebie Chaos Bolt for Kreisman to punish Arhi with Decimated Bolts on top of it. Dropping Arhi to critical low condition, but that's also means those Incinerates, since Arhi got hit at half its health. Those Incinerates, I think, are doing like 150% more damage. So those things are going to hit really, really hard, especially if he's running the Incinerate Legendary, or Decimated Bolt Legendary rather. Those Incinerates are going to hurt. Try to go for a Fear onto Arhi with an Amulet to follow. Arhi has Ascendance activated and everything. Incinerate 1. Then last Incinerate. Doesn't quite get him low enough. Arhi does heal through it. That's going to be a big old gateway as Kreisman moves to another state altogether. Flees the country. Moves to another location completely. Gonna be a stun from a distance with a Chaos Bolt as Arhi looking to get himself a bit of that recuperation behind the pillar. Focusing his attention onto the Succubus. Maybe Faith to just keep the Succubus low, so that he can eliminate it anytime he needs to. Bonds of Fell from afar. Cataclysm. Does Arhi go behind the pillar? He does go behind the pillar. Is going to break the Bonds of Fell. Kreisman looking for that angle. He could always port on top of him. Is going to port as the stun totem is down. Actually catching him with a Sunder into a stun as a Mortal Coil comes out. That was such good CC by Arhi. The Infernal, however, joins the fight. Fear onto Arhi. Puts himself in a bad situation. Stun from a distance. It is kind of shortish with a Decimated Bolt to follow. It is going to amp up the damage of Incinerates, but not by nearly as much. Incinerates go flying. Arhi could be a bad spot. Does have a wall to bolster himself through this. Another gateway is up for Kreisbed. Does Arhi choose to re-engage? Looks like he backs up out of there completely. Is just going to focus on the Infernal as well as the Succubus. Try to get himself as much healing as possible. Getting a bit of Fleshcraft. Kreisbed catching up on his phone Fleshcraft. Did I say Fleshcraft for Arhi? I meant to say Maelstrom. I'm pretty sure I meant to say Maelstrom. Did Kreisbed resummon a new second? No, he's just gone. Oh wait, no, he did resummon a new one. Like, see, he did get a fresh one. Did it fell down that one as well, or was that a normal? Not gonna be able to get out of the static totem, but the second CC keeps it in place. Most likely gonna be a Mortical, as Arhi's kind of low. Incinerates could be really bad. Does he have a decimatable Incinerate? He doesn't just yet. No, Arhi actually could be in a really bad spot. He doesn't have grounding totem for this duel. It's gonna interrupt Kreisbed on fire. But Drain Life is gonna be castable. And Arhi is super extremely low on health, 47% dampener, 12 minutes into this duel. There's only so much you can do. Trying to max out the damage against the Succubus. Got himself the Rock Boy, the homie, to bolster his health a little bit. Shatter Fear off of a Chaos Bolt with a Cataclysm. Arhi could reposition to the other side of the pillar. Looks like he's just going to be charging a Kreisbed. No wall for this one. Decimator Bolt flying. He's too far to interrupt him. That's going to be Incinerate. Going to drop him super low. Maybe another Incinerate by Kreisbed. Does Arhi have anything at all? Another Incinerate that's over. Oh my goodness. These Incinerates are so hard hitting. And Mary is going to be up next. The Paladin ready to go. And charge versus Kreisbed has the fear for the pets though. He has the fear for the Succubus with Turn Evil. So at least he has like dedicated CC just for that thing. Bonza fell and Mary is going to be probably lowish on health. Yep, just going to have to walk out of it. Succubus is next to him, building up a little bit of resources. He is going to have to just at some point commit damage to Kreisbed. I think go for the full burst or maybe just find a way to just charge at him, stun him, force a trinket without using wings, and then just capitalize and next go with the bubble. Poked out for a second, but a Mortical sent him with a fear, leaving him out in the open with a Chaos Bolt loaded up. And Mary is probably going to take a lot of damage here with a stun. Cataclysm to fall. Decimator Bolt instead actually Incinerates. Could be really deadly. Shield Avengers is up, but Incinerates gets it super low. Literally next ability going to kill him. Does burn a bubble and maybe panicked a little bit. And Kreisbed is just going to keep away from the guy. He has one more Incinerate in the chamber. He has one more ready to go. He just needs to find a good angle on Mary. Literally with Succubus CC, seduce him for a second, and then just blast him with an Incinerate, and that'll do the trick. Flash of light, trying to keep himself low. Succubus CC, side Kreisbed literally has one global. Oh, going to be a trinket out of him. Mary just decided, you know what? I don't want to die just yet. I want to keep playing. Cataclysm around the corner, and Mary's skin's burning, immolating now with the Bonza fell. Does proc it, and Mary is such a bad spot right now. Going to be instant cast for Christ, but actually the Succubus ends up taking him out instead. He tried to do what he could, with G-Funk going to be up next. As Kreisbed so far has been able just to decimate the enemy team. It's going to be Infernal dropping in, trying to stay aggressive with 68% dampening. Decimate Bolt getting set up by Kreisbed. Not going to be the biggest Incinerates, but I still Incinerates either way. Mortical into G-Funk is going to get him dotted up. And most likely going to be big damage. Going to be G-Funk's AoE stun. Bro! That was fast. Kreisbed, can you slow down that next time? I literally don't even know what happened. Kreisbed with 1,000,000 damage. 3 kills.